Welcome to everyone present for this meeting in the Civic Centre and also to those observing the meeting on Microsoft Teams. No fire drills are expected this evening, so in the event of the alarm sounding, please quickly make your way out of the building. There are 3 exits from this room which members can use to vacate the premises. Please turn mobile phones onto silent or switch off and take any calls outside the council chamber. Do not leave any bags unaccompanied and report any unaccompanied bags. Remember to take any bags with you once the meeting has concluded or as you leave the meeting. This meeting may be subject to filming or audio recording by others in accordance with the council's filming protocol. Anyone who remains in the meeting following this announcements will have deemed to have consented to allow their image to be recorded and broadcast. I'd like to remind members to turn their microphones on when speaking and to sit back from the microphones to assist the audio recording. Thank you. We'll now move to item 1 on the agenda, apologies for absence. Are there any apologies for absence? Thank you. Are there any more? Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? No. I'm going to hand over to the Deputy Monitoring Officer.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would like to remind members that all members who are liable to pay council tax within the Mansfield district be recorded as having an interest in the report that relates to the setting of council tax, is item 15 on the agenda. Members can participate in the debate and vote upon this item, subject to them declaring their interest. I would therefore like to ask all members who are liable to pay council tax to raise their hand now so that their interest can be recorded.
Thank you. Now move to item 3 on the agenda. Apologies.
Secondly, I would like to declare a collective pecuniary interest on behalf of all members in respect of item 12, which is the members' scheme of allowances. In accordance with the council's constitution, this enables members to participate in the debate and vote on this item. And finally, I would like to declare a personal interest in item 14, which is the pay policy statement on behalf of the Chief Executive Officer and all senior officers here present, as the policy statement relates to the pay of senior officers of the council. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Move on to item 3 of the agenda, minutes of the meeting held on 23rd of January 2024. I'm assuming everybody's had the chance to read them. Could I have a proposer and a seconder to the minutes held on the 23rd of January to confirm this as correct record? Thank you, Councillor Coxhead. Thank you, Councillor Clay. And are there any amendments? Thank you. We'll put it to the vote for accuracy. This will be by a show of hands. All those in agreement? Thank you. Move on to item 4 of the agenda, receipt of correspondence laid before the council by the chair of the council, elected mayor, members of the executive or head of paid service. Has there been any correspondence?
There have been none, Chair.
Thank you. Move on to item 5 of the agenda, advanced questions from members of the public. Are there any advanced questions from members of the public?
There are none, Chair.
Thank you. Item 6 on the agenda, advanced questions submitted by members. Are there any advanced questions from members?
We have 2 advanced questions.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Councillor Stevenson to put his question to the elected mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to thank the Mayor for his commitment to Warsop and in particular the new Warsop Health Hub. This facility has been desperately needed for the people of Warsop since the closure of the leisure centre on Burns Lane. Those of us in Warsop can see the building coming towards its final stages before opening, and I'm looking forward to being able to share this facility with the public. For the benefit of all members, can the Mayor give us an update on the progress of this fantastic new facility?
Thanks for your question, Jack. I've had the pleasure today to go on a site visit to Warsop, and I'm very excited to share that the tiles for the swimming pool are being laid. The rooms are taking shape, and the multi-use hall is really starting to look really brilliant. Progress is so good that we are pleased to announce that the Warsop Health Hub will be opening on the 1st of June ahead of programme. More Leisure Community Trust has begun advertising for roles at the Health Hub, including lifeguards, swimming teachers and deputy managers. To ensure that the hub is a central part of the community, More Leisure have been working with Meaden School's pupils to offer them the chance for free lifeguard training, and that could lead them to actually getting a job in the Health Hub. The project itself has been one of the best examples you can have of partnership working. After battling with the government's Department of Levelling Up to actually move the boundary to include Warsop, we did secure £3 million from the town's fund, which it wouldn't even have been included if we not fought to get that boundary in the right place to include Warsop. But then on top of that, we've been working with Sports England, and they've made a £1.8 million contribution. And because this has really been a mission of ours over the last 4 years, the council have invested 5 million in bringing this project to fruition. We are delivering on that commitment, and also looking at the climate emergency, we'll be installing solar panels and sustainable drainage systems to alleviate flooding. This is a true project for the community, with Vibrant Warsop being an integral part of delivering the right mix of activities, services and facilities that have been requested by residents, businesses and the parish council through an extensive consultation over several years. So I want to thank our officers for their commitment to this idea that we brought to them, and they've helped turn it into a reality. It really is an achievement we can all be proud of, and it's going to be an excellent facility for Warsop for many years to come.
Thank you, elected Mayor. Councillor Stevenson, do you have a supplementary question?
I'll just use the opportunity to thank everybody involved for the project. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm now going to invite Councillor Abs to put his question to the elected Mayor.
Thank you, Chair. Security next year, residents. Well, I want to join in with you really to thank our events team and all the people that support that team. They are so innovative with the ideas that they're bringing to the district, and it's reflected in those attendances. Over 15,000 people come in. I attended myself, and it was really magical. I mean, Carbank Park is a fantastic park. We've got awards for that park, so it's really great to be able to showcase our park with an event like that, and families really enjoyed it. You know, I want to thank Jono from Canvas, who gets involved in a lot of our events. On the Saturday night, he brought the silent disco. And I imagine that would have been, if somebody had videoed it, would have been quite interesting to see some moves going on to all sorts of different music, depending on what was on your headphones. But also there's been the Walkabout Entertainers on stilts, and we've been showcasing really, you know, some of the other fantastic things that have been at the museum. So we've got the inflatable sculpture, the Green Man, from an internationally renowned artist, with Jason Wiltshire Mills. And that was a stunning centerpiece of the event on the Saturday and Sunday night. I mean, I could really go on, but it's, you know, the figures Did you attend and support the event? Yeah, yeah. So you'd agree, yeah. So that's it attracted more visitors, and it's for the benefit, you know, really of the whole town. So back to the question, we definitely will be looking to putting that event on again. We'll have to look at these events year on year because it did come as part of the Destination Mansfield, but it was such a success. We'll do everything in our power to make these events sustainable going forward because I know how much the residents of Mansfield really appreciate them.
Thank you, elected Mayor. Councillor Abbs, do you have a supplementary question? Thank you. Now move on to item 7 of the agenda. The extract minute from the Governance and Standards Committee, the Treasury Management Monitoring Report. And I'd like to invite Councillor Hartshaw to present the report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So tonight I'm here to present the first of 2 reports, and the first one is the Treasury Management Update Report, Q3 2023 to 24. The Treasury Management Report for Q3 of 2023-24 was presented to the Governance and Standards Committee on the 21st of February 2024. In summary, the report covered the following 5 areas. 1, the background of the local authority treasury management. 2, the borrowing activities undertaken during the quarter. 3, the investments that have taken place during the quarter. 4, the rate of return achieved by the council. And 5, its compliance with the treasury management strategy as approved by the council in March of this year. The committee agreed that the following 2 recommendations are for noting. So 1, the Treasury Management Report 1st of April 2023 to December 31st of 2023 be noted, and 2nd, the prudential indicators detailed in paragraph 7.4 also be noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Hartshaw?
Yes, sorry.
And a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Hughes. Thank you. Now I'd like to put this motion to the debate. Does anybody have any comments? No, thank you. So we'll move to the vote. This will be by a show of hands. Votes for? Against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion is carried. Now going to move on to item 8 of the agenda, extract minutes from the Governance and Standards Committee Investment Strategies for 24 to 25. And I will like to invite Councillor Hartshaw to present this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The investment strategies for 2024 to 25. This report details the Council's investment strategies for 2024 to 25. Local authorities are required to produce the strategy documents and have them approved by full council on an annual basis prior to the commencement of any financial year. The council is required to produce under strategy guidance in relation to its investment and borrowing activities. These include the following 6 strategies. 1, the Treasury Management Strategy 2024-25 to 2026-27. 2, the Minimum Revenue Provision MPR Strategy 2024 to 25. 3, the Capital Strategy 2024 to 25 to 44-45. The Asset Investment Strategy 2024 to 25. The Commercial Property Investment Strategy 2024 to 25, and the Service Investment Strategy 24 to 25. The Council's Governance and Standards Committee have reviewed and scrutinised these 6 strategies as part of their working programme and recommend that the approval of this report by Council. Therefore, the recommendation is to approve this report full Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a proposer? Councillor Hartshorn, seconder, Councillor Hughes. Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody want to comment on the motion? No, thank you. We'll move to the vote. This will be by a show of hands. All those for? And against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion is carried. Now move to item 9 on the published agenda, the delegated decision by the portfolio holder for regeneration and growth. Councillor Richardson would you like to present this item.
Can I take this first off? Take this opportunity to thank the officers that have yes. Testing. Right. Okay. I shan't get so close to it. Yeah, I'll start again and just thank the officers for producing this supplementary planning document for green infrastructure. This is one of a series that they've produced that gives a robust guidance to developers and anybody that's interested in the green infrastructure here in Mansfield and District. So the report relates to the green infrastructure supplementary planning document, which I'll refer to as SPD from now on. This is the last in a series of SPDs and town centre guidance documents to be considered by the council this year. The GISPD sets out the council's aspirations to encourage high quality GI as part of new developments and maximise improvements to existing green infrastructure. The SPD adds more detail than that provided in the local plan policy in IN2. The benefits of green infrastructure include improved linked green networks for people and animals, improved biodiversity, which is a mandatory 10% now that's coming this year, enhanced resilience to the climate change, reduced flooding potential, increase informal open space and public realm improvements. There has been a consultation. This has been subject to a 6-week consultation period from 8th of September to 20th of November. Nearly 20 responses, including the key statutory consultees, Natural England, Environment Agency, local environmental groups, and some individuals. Full details of the consultation statement are accompanying this report. So this is a recommendation, and I'm recommending that the council adopt the green infrastructure supplementary planning document. This will give the council a detailed, up-to-date policy basis for securing and managing green infrastructure and provide clear guidance for developers. I therefore recommend that the council adopt the green infrastructure SPD and that it be used when considering and determining planning application within the district. But before I go on, I'd like to commend officers some sort to water down this green infrastructure project, this supplementary planning document, and I commended the officers concerned for not conceding the points, although during the consultation they did make notes of what the consultees said and took account of their comments. So as I say, I recommend this to council and thank officers for their diligence in this series of supplementary planning documents. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
I second and reserve the right.
Thank you. Does anybody want to comment on this motion? Councillor Wright?
This paper came through overview and scrutiny place last meeting, and I did comment at that meeting of the high quality the consultees' comments, but they were very good, and I'm pleased to say that our officers did take them on board, and it's added to the document. So thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Does anybody else wish to comment? Councillor Answer.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to read the document. It's a good document. It's a way forward and moving forward with this document. I'll just say we're moving forward for this document to be in place for Monday's planning committee.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to comment? Thank you. I'll put this to the vote by a show of hands. Sorry, elected mayor.
Yeah, I'd just like to say really that Mansfield really is leading the way on the climate emergency, and it's not about just talking about these things, it's putting things in place. We're not waiting for legislation to tell us to do the right things. We're actually putting best practice in place now. This administration is reinforcing its commitment to that climate emergency, and we all know that increased biodiversity, green space, all these things, they are of benefit to our residents. You know, not only green, healthy, also mental health and well-being. So it's great, and I do want to, like everyone else, thank our officers for helping us take this agenda forward that I think is for the benefit of all Mansfield residents, and I think Mansfield will start to be recognised as a leader on the green agenda.
Thank you, elected mayor. Councillor Richardson. Thank you. We'll now move towards the vote. This will be by a show of hands. All those for? Against? Abstentions? Councillor Camilleri, would you like to clarify your vote? Thank you. We didn't see your hand. May I move to item 11 on the agenda, delegated decision by the portfolio holder for corporate and finance. I'm sorry, item 10. I'll get with it today, right? So item 10, the delegated decision by the portfolio holder for corporate and finance, revenue and capital forecasting for quarter 3. And I'd like to invite Councillor Whitby to present.
Thank you, Chair. This is the third quarterly monitoring report of the 2023-24 financial period and sets out the revenue and capital forecasted outturn position against the current budget at the end of the report highlights the financial challenges our residents and this council face from the effects of the cost of living crisis, high levels of inflation, higher than expected pay awards, which affect all areas of the council. Close monitoring of our commercial undertakings continues to ensure a sustainable level of income is maintained. Leadership team are continuously seeking savings to mitigate economic pressures which are reflected in the report's forecasts. The end of the year, the general fund account is forecasting to be in a surplus position of £86,000. Last April, the Valuation Office finalised the re-evaluation of business properties affecting all appeals based on the 2017 valuations. As a result, many existing appeals became invalid, allowing us to lower the reserves set aside to cover this. This will likely be a one-year benefit as new appeals can be launched based on the 2023 valuations. The housing revenue account is forecasting a balanced position. This will leave the unallocated balances at just over £1.7 million. Our ambitious capital programme stands at £36.7 million, split between the general fund and HRA accounts as set out in table 5 of the report. Unavoidable slippage has meant that some spending originally planned for this year can be carried forward into the next financial year. Significant variances for the general fund and housing revenue account and capital budgets are listed within the report's appendices. Therefore, I'd like to propose the following recommendations: that the general fund capital programme carry forwards for the 2023-24 financial year be recommended to council for approval, and that the housing revenue account capital programme carry forwards for the 2023-24 financial year be recommended to council for approval.
Thank you, Councillor Whitby. Do we have a seconder? Elected Mayor.
And reserve the right.
Thank you. Now I'd like to put this out to debate. Does anybody wish to comment on the motion? No, thank you. Oh, Councillor Anderson.
Chair. Yeah. 36, table entitled General Fund Finance Variation.
Councillor Anderson, could you move towards the mic, please? Thank you.
You hear me?
That's better. Yeah.
On table 130, on page 136, on the table entitled General Fund Finance Significant Variances. The third item down, table titled Bad Debt Provision, the variance of over £2 million. I am concerned about what this debt.
Thank you for your comment, Councillor Anderson. Does anybody else wish to comment? Yeah. Thank you. Elected Mayor.
No further comment.
Councillor Whitby.
Nothing further to add, Chair.
Thank you. Now move towards the vote. This will be by a show of hands. All those for? Thank you. Against? Any abstentions? Oh, thank you. It's been passed. We will now move on to item 11 of the agenda. Delegated decision by the portfolio holder for cooperative finance council tax reduction scheme. Councillor Whitby, I'd like to invite you to present your report.
Thank you, Chair. This report sees the approval of the council tax resolution scheme for 2024-25. There is a requirement to approve the scheme annually at the council. The scheme is unchanged from the one approved in the current financial year, and as such, full public consultation was not required. The provisions in this scheme affect working age claimants as government continues to prescribe that pensioners are to be protected from any changes. The assessment of pensioner cases is based on 100% of the council tax liability. Council has operated a hardship fund since 2013 to 14, whereby the council has financed the hardship scheme designed to assist council tax reduction scheme recipients who have financial difficulties, giving short-term additional help with council tax liability. I've been working with the officers to ensure that this policy accords with the Royal British Legion's Credit Their Service campaign, which aims to ensure military compensation is not treated as an income when calculating council tax benefits. It's therefore recommended to the council to be approved council tax reduction in policy for 2024-25, dependent to the report for the financial year 2024-25.
Thank you, Councillor Whitby. Do I have a seconder? Elected Mayor.
I second and reserve the right.
Thank you. Does anybody have any comments to make? No, thank you. Elected Mayor.
No further comment.
Councillor Whitby. Thank you. We'll now move towards the vote by a show of hands. All those for? Thank you. Against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion is carried. I'd like to move to item 12 of the agenda. Local authorities, the members' allowance scheme, regulation 2003, amend the scheme of allowances 24 to 25. And I would like to invite the Chief Executive Officer to present his report.
Thank you, Chair. You'll find the item 12 on pages 297 to 304. This report relates to the requirement that all local authorities have a scheme for the payment of a basic allowance for that year under Regulation 41A. The regulation also provides for the provision for payments in respect of special responsibility allowance, dependent carers allowance, travelling and subsistence allowance, and co-optee allowances. Under the Regulation 10.1.2 and Regulation 16.1, it is a requirement that the council make and publicise a scheme before the beginning of the new financial year. The council's scheme is set out in Appendix 1 and will be effective from the 1st of April 2024. You may recall in March 2023, the council approved for the next 4 years that the basic allowance, special responsibilities and co-optees allowances would be indexed to the headline figure of the National Local Government Pay Settlement, known as NJC Percentage Pay Settlement. On the 23rd of January 2024, following consultation with Independent Remuneration Panel, the council agreed not to apply the indexation for 24-25. By approving this scheme as set out in Appendix 1, the council will meet the aforementioned regulations. Therefore, the recommendation to council is that the scheme of allowances effective from the 1st of April at Appendix 1 be approved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions to the Chief Executive Officer? Thank you. Could I have a proposer?
I propose and reserve the right.
Thank you, elected Mayor. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Chair, I'll accept and reserve the right.
Thank you, Councillor Whitby. Would anybody like to comment? Motion. No, thank you. Councillor Whitby. Thank you, elected Mayor.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the elected members who have made this contribution to try and help balance the budget and really, you know, make the burden less for our residents in Mansfield. So I want to say a thank you to everyone who's taken this collective hit to, you know, show that we're in solidarity with people that are really struggling out there.
Thank you. Now move towards the vote. This will be by a show of hands. All those for? Few members, any against? Any abstentions? Nope. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, number 13, non-attendance as meeting has now been withdrawn. So we will move on to item 14 on the agenda, the pay policy. And I would like to invite the Chief Executive Officer to present his report on the pay policy.
Thank you, Chair. The pay policy is set out on pages 309 to 330, and it's the pay policy statement 2024 to 2025. Section 38.1 of the Localism Act 2011 requires local authorities to publish a pay policy statement by the 31st of March each year to meet the legal requirement. The purpose of the statement is to increase accountability in relation to payments made to senior members of local authority staff by enabling public scrutiny. The policy can be found in Appendix 1, pages 317 to 330. I specifically draw your attention to the information that the policy must set out as identified on pages 309, 4.2 and 4.3 and pages 310, item 4.7. I therefore recommend to the council that the pay policy is approved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the Chief Executive Officer? Thank you. Could I have a proposer?
I propose.
Thank you, elected Mayor. Can you have a seconder?
I'll second and reserve the right.
Thank you, councillor Whitby. Does anybody wish to comment on this motion? Thank you. Councillor Whitby, do you want?
Chair.
Thank you, elected Mayor.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. We'll now move towards the vote. This will be by a show of hands. All those for? Thank you. Against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion is carried. Now move to item 15 on the agenda, council tax setting resolution. I'd like to invite councillor Whitby to present his report.
Thank you, Chair. The Council Tax Resolution Report seeks to formally set the council tax banding for Mansfield District Council for 2024-25 financial year based on a Band D equivalent property and brings together the total council tax to be levied on residents of the district based on the amounts also set by Nottinghamshire County Council, Nottinghamshire Police and Crime Commission, Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service, Warsop Parish Council. The council is required by statute to set its council tax for the next financial year by the 11th of March. Failure to do so will result in a breach of the council's statutory duties. So the recommendation is that the council tax resolution as set out in Appendix A be approved. But I would just like to point out that there is a typo in the first recommendation. The date on that should read the 18th of December 2023.
Thank you, councillor Whitby. Does anybody have any questions for councillor Whitby on his report? No, thank you. Councillor Whitby, invite you to propose.
Yeah, I propose the.
Thank you. Seconded.
Second and reserve the right.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to comment? No, thank you. Elected Mayor.
I'd just like to say that democracy goes really faster when stags are playing at home.
Thank you, elected Mayor. Councillor Whitby.
Glad, Chair.
Thank you. I'm now going to hand over to the Democratic Services Officer for the vote.
Shall read everybody's name out, and if members could tell me whether they're voting for,
Four.
Or
Four.
or
Four.
or
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 Four.
Four.
or
Thank you. That was unanimous. Now move to item 16 on the agenda. Motions. Are there any motions for the meeting?
Chair.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of the published agenda, so I'll now close the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for attending.